Lupa-Lupin says he's been looking forward to this moment. He wanted you to come here and see for yourself where it all started. He was so little when your mother and kin came here to put an end to his mother just because she was different, a hunter. That night, the hunter became the hunted, trapped with nowhere to run. He says your mother showed no mercy, only vengeance. He can see that you're not like your mother. There's something different about you. Maybe you would have made a better decision than she did, and let them be. They orphaned him, left him alone, an outcast and a freak. Lupa-Lupin says he's been reliving the moment every night since then. He says your mother and her disciples started something that couldn't be undone. They created the monster he would become. He knew his time would come, and he was patient. So, when he got news about your birth, he knew how to get revenge that would last. That's why he spared you that night he raised the village when you were a child. He wanted you to suffer for life, like he had. He marked you for life, so he'd recognize you when you met again, and you'd eventually remember where you came from. Just so. His hunger grew insatiable over the years to come. He tried, but being vegetarian wasn't in his nature, and he couldn't go hungry. But he's never taken a life for the sake of appetite. It's always been about survival, and that our true self is being who we are. A deep look into nature will make you understand everything better, and that natural selection eliminates, and the strongest survive. Fate is for those too weak to determine their own destiny, and now the time has come for you to accept yours. doom. Got it. But he's just. The darkness swallows everything at night. Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy. He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Noko in the east. Out of Date says that even though he's unsure about your intentions, he hopes you'll support Noko. He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Noko and making sure she gets what she needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date was spot on. The hoof puff needs to be stopped. Out of Date says that Noko is worried now that the Eastern World Eater is stepping up its activity. He explains that Noko keeps a fabled steed that she has planned to ride out to the World Eater, but needs help to get it prepared. Out of Date suggests that you should head east as fast as possible and see what you can do to help. He's happy to help. Understands you have other places you need to go. Your destiny waits on the path you'll take to avoid it. A crossway. This means you have a choice to make. Which way? Even the grass is shorter. All things end. Ah, the Gnote pen. Noko never leaves this place. She's always put the living things first.
kumbala muma. Ingadaldo.
Nooks isn't an easy language, but at least it's manageable. She says she is so happy to see you again.
Beri?
She wonders if you remember her. She's Noko. She let you ride her Majut when you were a kid.
Asana Yotpa.
Noko remembers you used to chase around with so much energy and is glad to see you haven't lost any of that spark.
Tukonda.
But that's all long gone now, though. Memories show us where we've been, not where we're going.
Ariaroche nui mumera.
Seems reluctant to even say its name. It's become personal to her too, since it's taken so many of her innocent gnotes as prey.
Taifanamenuma.
Noko remembers those days too, but she never lets herself wallow in them, no matter how tempting that can be.
Taifanamenuma.
She sees you're back to buck with Lupa-Lupin. Can't see how there's any way to avoid that now. Not for long, at least.
Orasa durut.
She says the horrors of your younger days were enough to ruin anyone, but not you. You've got all that cheer about you still.
Kamonu.
Noko says history is like the trail you've been on. You can walk back down it any time you like until it's worn smooth. But you get to blaze your own trail from here.
Kamonu.
Then you are stronger than her. She can't help wanting Lupa-Lupin to pay for what he did to her gnotes, despite the fact it's against her nature.
There's a bright day coming!
Hey, that's going to get you burned.
The only one getting burned around here is you.
That stings.
Oh, do you want some first aid for that?
Kanoruta.
Asks how many paths you've wandered in the world, and if you ever wonder about what might have changed if you'd taken different ones.
Aplitonumuta.
The choices can be overwhelming, but you have to choose, or you just stay where you are. And what kind of choice is that?
Kodotuku.
So happy the world is going to live, would have been crushed to see all the gnotes die with it.
Masamal.
Likes that you stood up for the world and spurred your way toward helping it out.
Amun.
Glad you saw the light with the myriad. They always bring a sparkliness to any day, and sometimes the nights too.
Brumblele marsamambunundu.
They're just so shiny, makes her smile to think about them.
Kialdo male kanodo.
But let's not speak of that now.
Kanamunta.
She has an idea where the Majut might have gone, as there's no other place it likes as much as its own corner of the open wild. She's even named it the Majut Meadow.
Asadurutu.
The Majut will recognize the scent you've attracted while being here, so it'll probably trust you enough to follow you.
Asilnatu.
You should lead the Majut back here when you find it. It's going to take time to get it calm enough to be able to ride out to the World Eater.
Masamal.
She's sad that something as wild as the hoof puff can't be tamed, but has to come to terms with the fact that you need to stop it. Everything is at stake. You found the Majut Meadow. Watch out for the Majut. It's starting to add up. Feels like you could be blown off the world. You found the Majut meadow. Watch out for the Majut. Half-lifed. Cut that one in half. Rid of the aches and pains. The world needs saving. Make the most of the day.
Andro?
Now that the Majut is back in the pen, it seems calm, but Noko is still concerned.
Tropalo.
She says the Majut is still anxious, but fortunately she knows just the thing it needs to calm down.
Recentene.
The Majut once found and ate a bonbon gummy by mistake, and that the chewing really calmed it down.
Tukonda.
She says that you should find some bonbon gummies for the Majut by the crossway. At least, that's where she found some last time.
Minä lagi mamuru.
She figures the choosies from the old world are made from gummy trees, but wouldn't be surprised if they were actually made from some chemical concoction, though. The day is here. That's a moat. Cranks like these usually need to be wound to operate the dispenser. What you see is what you get. Once it's out of the blind box, that is. Gonna need a key of some kind. You flick the switches in order to greenlight the current and activate the electrons in the panel. Good. The loop is electrified enough to spark.
Narolote.
Says it's about
Pala.
With its attention diverted to the chewy bonbon gummy, the Majut calms down. But Noko is still concerned.
Anora kapapum.
She's relieved the Majut has calmed down, but you'll need a heavier sit-tight to ride it than the one she's got.
Chialdo male canoto.
The only sit-tight she can think of that would be enough is one she's spotted mounted on an old-world mecha-Majut.
Camonu.
If she remembers correctly, she spotted it at the Smilo Shopperia while scavenging for treats for the gnotes. That's not so far away.
Sadurutu.
Seems the old world had plenty to offer, an all-in-one place for those obsessed with material things. Almost too much, if you ask her.